Well, I got a more uplifting story for you guys. So you guys have heard these stories where, like, people have big potholes in the road, but they can't get the government to fix them.
Yeah.
Well, this guy, he came up with a pretty clever idea. Potholes get repaired after protesters spray paint schlongs around them.
I think I've seen that before.
Locals will Yeah, this was from a couple years ago, but it's the first I heard of it. Locals are praising a protester after two potholes were repaired, claiming it's all thanks to some spray-painted willies that highlighted the issue. Images of the potholes, which had reportedly been in the road for roughly a year, had been on a Facebook page dubbed T-Side Connected, with a black penis shape and one red one seen encircling two potholes. This page is an update. Later shared a picture from a resident named Brad Nicholson, who had shared the power of the willy, repaired this morning. Only been there a year. Well done, Middlesbrough Council. Other locals praised the unconventional way of problem solving, with one posting, "Wish I had that idea myself. My area is shocking." Another wrote, "There's going to be a penis on every pothole now." Someone else commented, "T-side is going to be full of willies. Watch this space." A third meantime quipped, "Where there's a willy, there's a way." A Middlesbrough Council spokesman stated, Middlesbrough, like all local authority areas in the county, has issues with potholes, and repairs are carried out on a priority basis determined by the risk they pose to highway users. Currently, however, we are carrying out pre-planned works in the Acklam area, and staff were able to visit the nearby site on Fane Grove when the matter was reported to us and have patched over the hole. Whoever pulled off the feat pretty much followed in the footsteps of famous street artist Wanksy. Wanksy has said potholes are very hard to see. You tend to forget about them until it's too late. But draw a big yellow willy around it, and you can't help but notice and hopefully avoid it too, saving the vehicle from damage or the rider from injury. Usually the council will either notice it or it actually gets reported and then gets repaired. Happy days.
So now you know what you got to do.
Well, I saw this like 10 years ago in a TV show. It was called The League. And one of the characters, like, he said, "Oh, you got a pothole. How do you want to fix it? Just draw a swastika on the pothole." And,
okay, so these guys are like, "I don't want to do the swastika, but it tickle." Yeah, this happened in 2019. This story.
So I mean, maybe he watched the show or something, because our great minds think alike. I don't know.
I saw one too where I vaguely want to say it might have been a Canadian guy, but basically he was going around filling the potholes himself, and and he just put up a sign like, "Don't pay your taxes, pay me." Or something.
It is good motivation, because then the government not only has to fix the pothole, they have to erase the penis. So
yeah.
It's like, you want more work for yourself, or do you want to fix the pothole? I wonder if we could get them to do more stuff.
No, the government's so cheap, they'll just change policy. They'll be like, penises are normal, get over it.
There's so much graffiti around here right now, I don't think they'd even they'd be like, yeah.
Well, yeah, graffiti-wise, I'm sure there's graffiti dicks all over the place. It amazes me, like, how much graffiti there is. You take a ride, and you just, like, you're like, it's everywhere. It's like, how do these people have time to put it everywhere?
It's amazing where they get that graffiti.
That too.
Like underneath like an elevated train track or something.
Yeah,
it's
or like
nuts.
Yeah, or like the underside of overpasses and shit. And it's like, how did you even do this?
A Spider-Man out there doing this shit.
Man, back to the potholes though. It kind of reminds me. Do you remember like the very first? Like my parents, when I was still in high school, bought a car for me to use because the one before that broke down, and this one had a stick shift, and I had never drove stick shift before. So like he took me out and was teaching me to drive stick, and we were driving up in the mountains because not a lot of cars or whatever up there is a good place to learn. But we're going, and there's like this corner, and I think there was a sign that said bump. It just said bump. And we go around it and fucking bump my ass. There was like a trench in this fucking road, and we just go boom, boom. And the car gets a flat tire. We end up having to walk back to our house, which is probably, I don't know, like 5 I don't know how far would you say that is? At least 5 miles, probably.
It was probably we probably walked more than that.
It could have been more than that.
And it's always like whenever you do that, like nobody thinks to come looking for you until like you've been missing for like 10 hours.
Yeah, yeah, they weren't going to show up. And I remember at that same that walk back, like you ended up having to like take an emergency shit.
I wouldn't be surprised, man.
And I don't know what you used to wipe. I think you might have had to like give up
The
your
old
underwear,
shirt sleeve or underwear or something.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, bump. That was a little more than a bump. Like it should have said "turn back now." Fuck, bump my ass. Jesus Christ.
Got to derail those backwoods moonshiners and meth makers.
Yeah.
It's like we got another one.
I hit a bump in Portland here like that doing DoorDash. Like I was going behind this business and the road seemed fine. Like it seemed flat.
Yeah.
Then I drove through it and it was a huge, like probably not as bad as yours, but like this was all concrete. So I felt it like, and I was just like, oh my God, how does that exist? How does such a huge, it was like the size of the road.
Yeah. There's some weird ones in Portland where like it's paved streets and then like your GPS will try to make you turn and it's like this street's paved, that street's paved, but like the street in the middle in between is not paved. It's just dirt and it's got like giant holes in it and you're like, how are they not fucking paving this?
Yeah, like when we can't, like Houston is ugly in a lot of ways, but the infrastructure, like the building is there.
Right.
They've got that. Portland is the opposite. Like it's beautiful, but like there's the built infrastructure here is terrible, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, they got a lot of regulations and stuff. Maybe over time they'll like improve upon it. I don't know.